Hi.
Hi.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. And it's Thursday, which means...
It's food day. Well, every day is food day.
Every day is... You're right. Every day is food day. Naz, I didn't take a picture.
I'm sure you had another wonderful meal last night.
I took a picture of my food, which I share. I didn't even share that. I did share something. No, I used my new wood paddle for my barbecue. It tells you that you have to, because it's flat and
right.
straight, you got to basically let it melt to
conform to the grill.
It was, I have to say, it was great.
Yeah.
I didn't directly grill last night.
Right.
But I left the Monday night. I had a Zoom meeting. I barbecued. I had a Zoom meeting, and I sat outside, and I had all intents purposes to go and clean. I was getting intentions to go clean the grill, and I found out the next morning that I left it on.
Oh, well,
so
you didn't burn your house down.
I didn't burn the house down, but the grill was extra clean. It burns everything
off.
So when I went yesterday, I was like, oh, and I could still see. So what I was able to yesterday was even get a better clean.
Right.
But took the paddle and...
yeah, it's interesting because the paddle, it starts to... Because I used mine, too. It starts to conform...
so I don't know how much deeper it's going to go.
Right.
But we'll see.
Well, because the end of it narrows down, so it's very thin at the end. So I guess to where it goes to where it's fatter, it's not going to wear down. It's not going to.
I think it's great. I've always had a wire brush, and it's not really good for the grill. So I've gotten away from that.
It's not good. You know what? The wire bristles, they worry that they're gonna come out and go in your food. That's what was happening to people.
Right.
Well, so they try to tell you not to use wire bristles.
The one I have is it's not bristles.
It's just a wire brush.
It's like a wire. Yeah, it's like all woven.
Right. Like steel wool.
Actually, it's like a mesh, and it works great.
Yeah.
I wet it and I use it, or I take a rag and and that typically works best and pull up everything. Yeah. You try. It's so funny. There are so many tools.
Yes.
For your barbecue that you can use. That you don't even know what. I've never heard of using a wood paddle to clean the barbecue, and I mean that so far. Well, I'm gonna barbecue against now. I'll use it for direct heat tonight, so it'll make it a little different.
We'll see what happens.
I'm excited. Well, welcome to Live from Rabs.
Hi, everybody.
Episode 78. And if you're watching us for the first time, welcome. We are live from inside
the Insane Asylum,
Rabs Country Lanes. Very quiet day here at Rabs. Marco is here, and Arturo's here, and
they're pumping out the pies, though.
Pumping out pizzas for takeout and delivery. Marco's been delivering all over Staten Island. So wherever you live and you call, he'll get it to you. Of course, you can use your favorite apps or services, but you can always call and get a familiar face to deliver your pizza, Zeppelis, rolls. I just saw, I believe it was a personal pie or a gluten-free pie because it was small.
Those are delicious. I love those.
And people love those. Yeah. So we're not open. We are still in phase 4 from the governor's plan. So no bowling, but we do have food available for takeout and delivery. So
so you could get what we call a taste of Rabs
delivered right to your home.
Correct.
And delivered with a smile from one of our very best, whether it's Marco, it's Tina, Thomas has done deliveries, Harry's done deliveries, not in costume, at least, of course. And yes, Christine, I think we all love our gadgets, especially when it comes to grilling. There are so many. It's a good question for Pam. I want to ask Pam a little bit about, what did he say?
I didn't hear what he said.
Oh, he said something to us. As Marco's walking out the door, he yelled at us as he's watching the show on his phone. So he's going to go in the car and listen to us. So he must have responded to something we said. We've got lots of kitchen gadgets. I don't know if I've shared this. I think we all have
a favorite,
some sort of kitchen gadget that I don't know how you bought it, but
Now I pretty much know the origin of pretty much everything. Well, I shouldn't say that. A couple of the barbecue things, I'm not sure, because I have like 4 different brushes for my barbecue.
Well, then they had the Grill Daddy thing, like it goes. Then they have the one that goes with batteries, and
that's the one.
Right. I don't have one of those.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, but the last couple I know how I got. So I know to stay away from the bristle brush, but I too have a one that has a metal. It's like steel wool almost, pad on it that works pretty well.
Well, Brian, sorry to see you go so soon.
Have a good day.
But you
Brian.
can catch up later on and watch the rerun of Pam. And we have Pam Silvestri joining us today, along with Rob DeLuca of DeLuca's Italian Restaurant. He's going to come in and talk with Pam
Very
and us.
popular restaurant.
On the South Shore. And he, along with some of the other restaurateurs, have been very vocal. So we'll talk a little bit about that and jump-starting their business. But Pam will be here in a little while. We'll talk to her. I want to ask her about the grilling thing. I mean, what has she? The best thing that I've always found is I have a bunch of older rags that I just keep, and I water and I mean scrub it. I use using the tongs and
the thing that's good is kind of burning that off, getting it nice and hot, so that everything comes off pretty easily. That works really well. Yeah.
Well, and I keep it closed. Let it.
Yeah, let it heat
I mean, the other night, it probably got the best clean
you
ever.
Heated it for like a day and a half, pretty much.
A little longer than it should have. That's all right. So kitchen gadgets. So what I was getting to, my dad, every so often he would pick up the phone and call to buy a gadget. And we love gadgets. I mean, when it comes to kitchen, I mean, if you open it, we've got a gadget drawer. And some of the stuff works and some of it doesn't. And then some of it's like, I haven't tried it yet. I want to give it a chance. Right. And then you remember too late. Almost like the garlic crusher. Like it's always too late before you even go pull it out.
Yeah, they have a new garlic thing where you put the garlic inside it and you roll it.
Oh, I have one of those.
Does it work really well? It's in my cart.
You know what?
But I haven't ordered it.
It was a gift. Actually, I think Christine gave it to me. I don't think I've used it yet. Okay. But here's the problem. I don't go looking for, if I know I'm going to pull garlic, because I think that it helps take the, it takes the skin off.
Right.
I mean, by the time I go to do that, I've already got the knife, I slammed it. I didn't go bother to find. So my father would call, and the last time he called to order a gadget on the TV, he got so PO'd. I think he was ordering the grip and flip and something. And I mean, that was it. It looked good on TV, but it wound up being the crappiest kitchen tool. It's a flat, basically for pancakes, you can grip it and then you flip it. So flat, and then it's got a thing that you hold down and then you flip it over. I mean, it wasn't made very well.
Right.
So anyway, so he was ordering that and a couple of other things. And then it turns into, oh, would you like to learn about anything else that we have? No. Well, I'm sorry, I have to tell you about everything else that we have to offer to sell. I'm only interested in this product.
Right.
I'm not interested. And it took a lot for my dad to get upset.
Right.
He got upset and he hung up the phone and wound up not ordering
the original
and calling back again. And maybe he did, at that time he did call back and finally get someone that wouldn't, he goes, but I'm doing my job. I have to sell you the other product.
Right.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
And he told him, you're gonna lose my sale.
I always feel bad for telemarketers. I can only imagine what a tough job that is, because some people some people break their horns and some people are rude, and but if I say to you politely, I'm really not interested, take me off your call list, please, because that's usually what I say, then you should just say, sure, thank you.
No, they don't.
I have to say they're doing it much more than they used to.
Probably. Because
they used to try to talk you out of it. But, it's a crappy job.
Well, so at the same time, just not food for a moment.
Yes.
Here, we get a lot of phone calls. And so if you call here and you ask for me or Nazareth, I mean, we're not always at our desk. We're out here and you might get our voicemail, and our job is to make sure we go check voicemails and so forth. But if you call once and they say they're not available, I mean, don't call back again. So now I'm just talking about friends or regular people that we people that we know. But then when it comes to telemarketers, they'll call. Oh, and then the latest one, I've gotten this like 5 times, not recently, obviously, but before we had closed. I'm returning his call. He called me about something else.
They try every scam to get to you.
In the bar servicing the scratch-off machine, and Melissa comes in. She goes, the person on the phone, they tried calling. They're returning your call. Okay. So now I answer the phone. I said, hi, how can I help you? oh, this is so and so from. It was a credit card
Slap
merchant.
chop.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah, slap chop. I think it was a credit card merchant.
Yeah.
And I'm returning. And I said, oh, he didn't say to me, I'm returning a call.
Right.
I thought you'd be interested in our services. I said, well, with all due respect, you called and left a message, and I wasn't at my desk, right? He says, yes. I said, well, you left a message? He said, yes. I said, well, why are you calling back? And I said, you also misrepresented yourself by telling my staff that you were returning. Well, I didn't say that. You have now earned the,
right.
I will never do business with you.
That's the problem.
And they were like, well, what do you mean? I said, you misrepresented yourself.
Correct.
Sorry.
Why do I want to do business
Don't
with a
call
company
back
like that?
Click.
Yeah.
The bastard called back.
Well,
and then they're relentless. And I've been there and I've said to them, and I've been this before, hey, don't waste, here's the other one.
Right.
Don't waste your time. The more time you spend on the phone with me who's not interested, clearly not interested.
You could be selling to somebody who might buy from you.
And I say it all the time. And then I go click. And then, I think we got disconnected. No, we didn't get disconnected. Hey,
we got disconnected because I hung up the phone.
Right. I haven't always had to say that. I just do it again. I love when they say, hey, I'm calling for Rab. Is Rab available?
Yeah.
I just spoke to him last week.
Yeah.
My response to that is, if you have his phone number, can I have it? Can you give me the direct line to Rab? Because if you have it, I would love to speak to him myself. I speak to him every day, and I know he's listening
in a different way,
but he doesn't answer back. He answers back with putting shit around us.
Correct. The dimes.
Oh, so anyway, that's the Rab stories. The kitchen gadgets. One of my favorite Rab kitchen gadgets. I had to replace it because I broke it, and it's very hard to break them. You know the chestnut cutters. So if you ever roast chestnuts at the holidays, we do this twice a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a chestnut roaster.
We roast chestnuts twice a year, and bought a gadget just to cut the cross in the chestnut. It was like $5 maybe.
Correct.
So we had it, and I used to
Those are
love it.
professionals.
You put the chestnut in. Works perfect. It goes deep enough, makes the X, and
then when you roast them,
soak them. Put them in the oven. So
I don't
broke
have one of those.
And so since I broke it, I haven't bought a new one.
Well, the time is coming. You had a few months.
Cutting slits into chestnuts is
not easy.
It's certainly not always easy.
I tell you, my favorite thing in the kitchen, probably, and I know it's not a gadget, but a nice sharp knife.
Oh,
I cannot underestimate the feeling of having a nice sharp knife. Actually, it was, I always used okay knives, but probably maybe 8 months ago, I was talking to Marco and I said, listen, I'm looking to buy a couple of really good knives. Can you suggest something to me? He goes, yep, I'll let you know tomorrow. He actually brought me a knife.
Oh.
It's a big one, too. It's big. He goes, just be careful. He brought it wrapped up in his big towel, and I wanted to come in and give it back to him, soaked with red dye, and say, thanks for the towel and thanks for the knife. Here's your towel back. But I couldn't do that.
So you could have done like in the TikToks where they pretend they cut their finger off.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that.
There's a whole bunch of them.
That's not in my For
You. They take
You.
a carrot or something. They take ketchup, pour it over, and then they take the knife and they're recording themselves because someone else in the background, and they go, whack! And then they take the.
Who would use a knife like that?
But then they take the carrot, but nobody sees them doing it. They do it so that they can hear it on purpose. They take it and then they show them, and he screams, and then they eat it. And they're all freaking out. Like, what are you eating your finger for? Anyway. And so Dennis is asking me if I vented enough yet. And we're not really, I'm not totally venting. However, you want me to vent. You asked me about the Chinese calls. Now we can vent for days.
No. We're not going down that road. We're going to keep everything nice and happy.
But, I have to say, at one point, the Chinese calls, after the coronavirus,
they stopped for a while.
It's almost like they were calling to warn us that the coronavirus is on its way here.
I spoke to somebody I haven't spoke to for a while, an old friend, and a couple days ago, and she asked me specifically about the Chinese calls, because we were talking about phone calls and not answering calls. And I said, I hope I don't jinx myself, and I hope you didn't jinx me, but I don't get those calls.
And then?
No, I didn't. In 2 days, I haven't gotten any. So hopefully I won't.
You'll get them. And they look like your phone number, but I have to. They're kind of comical. And you can't, even if you answer it, it's just a recording. For those that are watching, we were just talking about kitchen gadgets, and I want you to tell us what your favorite kitchen gadget is. I'm really curious. I mean, Anne, I don't. You might have kitchen gadgets, but they might be very clean. But I'd love to know whatever your favorite kitchen gadgets are. Maybe there's something that we all would like to use that we don't have, that we don't use.
Yeah, like I said, my favorite is the cutting board and that nice sharp knife.
That's not a gadget, though.
It's not a gadget, but it's the thing. Gadget. Well, my salad spinner. I like to spin it out.
Oh, see, those don't last in my house. I broke like 3 of them.
I broke the outer bowl on the last one. I actually have it. It's so pathetic that it's tape. It's got tape on it.
Oh God!
I taped it. Oh no, with that Flex Seal tape. I taped it with Flex Seal.
The one that you could put a boat together with.
Exactly.
He slices the boat in half and you can put a boat together.
It's together. It's working good.
My other favorite kitchen gadget that I do use, and I will go seek it, is the cherry pitter. Okay. So if I buy back black cherries, I mean, the fun part about eating the cherries is that it's spit in the pit. But if you just want to use them in salads or something,
right?
So you put it in, and you can use. And I have
one of those
olives
too,
also.
Little roundish thing.
A rice cooker counts.
Rice cooker counts.
Rice
yes,
cooker counts.
I actually just bought one of those.
I don't have one of them.
Yeah,
I have steamers. But
yeah, I just bought a rice cooker.
Or as John Lucido was asking, does the refrigerator count as his favorite kitchen gadget? John, yeah, sure, why not?
Well, if I can pick a knife, I guess you can pick a refrigerator.
Yeah, so we've got so it's Thursday, so we're talking food. Welcome to Live from Rabs, Food Thursdays, and if you tune in on a regular basis every Thursday, Pam Silvestri joins us for her weekly check-in, and sometimes we bring some guests along and we talk about the food scene and what's going on. And it's funny, every week every day there's something new happening in the restaurant scene.
It constantly
food,
moving target.
And Hillary, you're right, and I wholeheartedly agree with Naz. Nothing like a good sharp knife. For Christmas, my family bought me last year those really sharp Japanese knives. Now my brother cut his finger off using one.
That's why I laughed.
But he was cutting. I mean, that's a whole other story. We've talked a little about it, but I love them. Absolutely,
you do have to be careful.
I'm gonna say actually they need to be sharpened. So now you could send them. They sharpen.
I have sliced off the end of the little tip of my finger a couple times, but
anyway,
nothing.
Hey, let's welcome in our good friend Pam Silvestri. Hey, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
How are you? Hi. How are you?
We caught her in the app.
I was just
we are great. How are
back.
You?
I'm doing great. Having a little bit of a tough day with I don't know, like writer's block a little bit. Like nothing is working out with the story, and I have to file up by 4. And every time I go on the show, something clicks. So I'm hoping that we can keep up that momentum.
We're here to help. So, what is your favorite kitchen gadget?
Well, I heard you talking about that before we went on, so I wanted to show you. This is mine. This is called a food mill, and you take like tomatoes or something, and you turn it, and it's got this blade in it, and so you take you poach tomatoes, and then you put it in there, and then it basically it smashes it, so it takes the seeds out. Or like if you're doing like a peach compote, like we have a peach tree, and we get like tons of peaches and stuff like that. So, you poach the peaches and then you like cook it and then you smash them and then it like takes all the pulp out. It's great device. I mean, it really takes.
I got to get me one of those.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Although I do enjoy the
smashing of things.
Good old smashing.
Well, good. Hello. And how are you? I just want to say hello to some people here. Pat, hello. And Anne. Hello, Anne Maria Hastings. And Catherine. Thank you so much, Catherine. Nice to see you. And yeah, Hillary, I heard you talking, Nazareth, about the sharp knife. I love the sharp knife thing. My husband always used to talk about how dangerous a dull knife is. And so we used to go to down in Midland Beach, what was their name? Not Moretti. What's their name? She was my religion teacher from elementary school, her family, Ms. Morano. So anyway, so the brothers there, they do the grinding.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, the Maturi brothers. There you go.
There they are.
They still drive around in the truck. I think they still have a truck that drives around.
Yeah.
Our grinding service truck.
Oh my gosh, I remember that from when I was a kid.
We have a guy that sharpens our knives here at Gennaro's. He comes in once a week and picks up and drops off. I mean, every restaurant sharpens knives. It's just a great service. Do it yourself. But that's a good point. There is nothing more dangerous than a dull knife because you wind up working it so hard, you wind up doing more damage.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. And you can jam your fingers and all sorts of stuff. So yeah. But it's interesting. Today, and one of the things I'm kind of stuck on right now is that I'm not getting any answers from the various city agencies. Now at the Staten Island Advance, what's happening is with people furloughed, whatever, we're short-staffed. So I'm starting to go into beats that I never really did, and I'm dealing with the Department of Transportation, and the issue is the sidewalk cafes that are allowed to open, come June 22nd. The problem is that there's no there's no guidelines. There's nothing. So in order to prepare for that, you have to apply for permits and maybe get an architect. I was talking yesterday with a guy from Everything Entertainment, Scott Weisberg. And he's been renting tents, excuse me. And if you get a tent that's over, I think it's 400 square feet, you have to get a permit and hire an architect and possibly an expediter. And it's a whole process. So that takes a while. And even if they say they're going to expedite it, it's just not going to happen. So Laura Carver Hepworth is asking, what if it rains? That's why they were looking for tents and coverage. So they have a parking lot like at Max Zeska in Doggin Hills. They have a big parking lot there. It's likely that they'll put the people out in the dining, their dining room will be outside there. That you have to tent it. You have to put some kind of covering. Also, traditionally, the health department has always frowned upon service in an environment where the food is not perfectly covered before it gets to the table. So if you have a walk-in box, for instance, that's behind your restaurant, that's maybe 10 feet away from the door, you have to cover it with an awning where, make sure it's covered. It's opening up a whole can of worms. I don't think they realize what they're getting into by relaxing the laws on that, but it's necessary. They want the restaurants to open. Right. So go ahead.
I was going to say, even to that point, I think that there's not enough clarity on the alcohol either. So alcohol service outside the restaurant, if you have a fruit, and that's part of the whole permit processing, but the way I'm understanding it is that open container is not allowed. So depending on what you're considering, but if you're serving food and alcohol together, you can't serve the alcohol without food. But it seems to be unclear as well what we're truly going to be able to do. For restaurants, it's a little different than other type food service places. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big deal. And but anyway, I just it's at least it's progress. They're talking about reopening. But anyway, I'm looking forward to speaking with Rob DeLuca at 2:30 today. Next 5 minutes. And in the meantime, also there's a bunch of things that have popped up that I think are very interesting and maybe useful to your viewers. Some of the Facebook things that have popped up are pretty interesting, like the Staten Island wine fairies. We did a story about that. My colleague Victoria Priola did a story about the Staten Island wine fairies. It's kind of a cool pay it forward gifting thing. It's neat. That is cool. Quarantine Cuisine had Camille Pizzo on the show, earlier. That's a great resource. This is not a quarantine related thing, but Cucina Teresa, that's Teresa Pignati Rosenthal. She has this great Cucina Teresa with sous chef Oliver. And then there were a bunch of other things that I thought was interesting. Little Jen, do you know Little Jen? She's somehow related to Big Ange. Yes. And so the late Big Ange. Anyway, so Jen Petafio has a thing called Tip Cup Wheel, which is if you're missing gambling, they fit that need very well. They have all these different it's a roulette basically on the computer, and you sign on and you can win $250, which is supposed to be gifted to somebody in the food service industry who needs, or they have champagne and things like that. It's kind of cool. I was impressed, and she's a lot of fun. She's a character, so it.
The funny thing, the wine fairy thing, I have to say, I think it's cute. The only thing that, all right, so I'm going to rant quick. But it's not a bad thing. It's a funny.
He's in that mood, said I.
I love the idea. I think it's great. However, the idea to me of a wine fairy is that all of a sudden, surprise, you've been surprised with some wine in a basket. These people are begging for wine baskets and putting their addresses on the page. Like, and specifically, it's kind of funny. Like somebody posts, "Oh, I'm going to go drop in the 10312 area code and drop me your address." Like they're begging for it. Like they know it's going to come. It's how it started was the fact that I'm going to go surprise. Like all of a sudden, I took a bottle of wine and dropped it on your step and then sent you a message like that. No. These people like now it's great. I love it. I think it's cool.
People are asking for it.
It's now turned into them asking for it, which I mean, like, take away from the initial. I think it's awesome. I really think it's cool. People need that little surprise, and some of the ladies are wearing. They go out in their little fairy outfits and they're dropping packages off to people. So I think it's cool. I think it's that's my little rant. That's only my little rant about the wine fairs. I mean, it would be surprising.
You're right.
Right?
That's what I would think.
Yeah. I just what's that?
Dominus vobiscum. It's okay. It's all right. You come to the confessional, which is like, I honestly, I'm a therapist. Like people, it's like, it's such a stressful time, like literally. And people also, I put my email address at the end of an article, and people email me on everything. I got like, I didn't get mail service today. Like, oh, where are you? How long has it been you haven't got mail service? Today. Where's my mail? I'm like, I don't know where your mail is. And then I get the other ones. I have one gentleman who gives me pictures of his grandkids and everything, which is nice. I love it. But it's just about everything, every subject under the sun. I had late last night, I got an email, which was interesting, and it's a worthy discussion, actually. Andreas Kouchadakis was a restaurant owner in Manhattan who had died from the COVID. He's a Staten Islander. He had a restaurant in, I believe it was Hell's Kitchen. And anyway, he is very beloved. He's very missed. There's lots of things in his legacy, which are, he had a GoFundMe started by his son, Andreas, and they got enough money that they purchased an enormous number of face masks for different hospitals, including Rumsey, where he passed away. And anyway, but what came out of it too was we've kept in touch, and he sent me an email yesterday about how the conditions of Moravian cemetery, like the cemeteries, are really disconcerting to people because you can't get in there like you used to. They shut them. And so, but Resurrection, where my mother is, has reopened. They started like Sunday 9 to 3, and then Monday through Friday and Saturday it's like after 1:30. So they limited the hours because people were using it as a park. I was told by the woman who runs. Right. So that's kind of interesting that popped up. Andreas, the son, was saying like they couldn't get water at Moravian. They had limited hours. Nobody gets back to them, and blah, blah, blah. But it was just very, I don't mean to say blah, 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 but I mean, it was just it's fascinating things that have come up, like that's just awful. And you know.
For sure. Yeah.
Anyway,
So. No, you're good. So Rob DeLuca's here. Rob? Introduce you. You invited Rob to join us today. So introduce Rob.
So Rob DeLuca owns DeLuca's Italian restaurant, which he runs with his mother Kim, and she makes amazing meatballs and other food. So also they basically, Rob is the head of an ad hoc restaurant group dubbed IROAR, which is Independent Restaurant Organization. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Frank Nazareth. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Reopen, and so Rob has spearheaded. He's kind of the spokesperson for a lot of restaurants, and now this whole movement to get the mayor's attention, to get the governor's attention, with people who know what they're talking about with food service, to get the guidelines in place and kind of hurry things along. And they've gotten the attention of the governor's office. I've been really impressed with what you're doing, Rob. So I think that you would probably be better to speak on it. So.
Well, thank you, Pam. So I'm Rob DeLuca, owner of DeLuca's Italian Restaurant in Tottenville. Right now, all the restaurants are uniting. We formed our own little restaurant association called IROAR. IROAR is the Independent Restaurant Owners Association Rescue. Right now, Staten Island hasn't had a restaurant association or a restaurant owners association. And we've started with 5 restaurants, and now we're at 200 as of today.
Oh, wow.
This is all as of about 2 weeks ago. Myself, Max Zeska, and Pucci's, the Richmond, Venum, and a few other restaurants sat down in the beginning, and we said, what are we going to do? How are we going to get ourselves open? They don't see, the politicians and the state and the city don't seem to understand, the small businesses and the restaurant industry. So what can we do to help better explain it to them so they understand our needs, our wants, and we can work together with them in a safe and responsible reopening process.
That's great because and I think what we've learned through all of this, in many cases, it's a power in numbers. So the more that they hear from us, the more they're willing to listen, or at least take action. And it's tough because I think at this point the focus has to be, okay, we're going to get to reopen. But what we were talking about in the beginning of the conversation was, okay, you're going to allow us to have outdoor dining, and you're being lenient here. But hey, let's work together. And to me, I always struggle. I feel like a lot of times we make this, not we, but government makes decisions
without really.
We talk to the experts,
following through and talking to the people that have to implement it.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I know, like we talked a little bit about this, Consumer Affairs has gone out and talked to restaurant owners, but they're not asking for opinions. Right. They're just saying, hey, if we did this, would you do it? Right. So how do we get that? And so, Rob, how do we truly get that message heard so we can do what we need to do and operate in this new environment, so to speak?
So if I had that answer fully, we would have this done already. But, we're working on it. We've been all about doing things the right way. There's rumors that swirl around that we're just going to have some grand mass opening. And obviously that conversation gets thrown around the room because that's the easiest thing to do is say, we're all just going to open and defy the government. It's easy to say that. To do it is difficult, but to say that we're going to do it is easy. And we don't want to do that because God forbid there's a spike or people start claiming that they get sick at places. They're going to just put the blame on us. And that's the last thing that we want. So we've been sitting down. We came up with guidelines. We sent them up to the governor's office about 2 weeks ago. Strangely enough, yesterday and the day before, I think it was Tuesday, the governor's office released some guidelines. And a lot of it was very similarly worded to exactly what we wrote down.
Well, there you go.
I didn't think you could plagiarize in college. I don't think you could plagiarize when you're the governor either. Things to commas and dashes and certain wording was used exactly the same. But I'm glad that they utilize some of it. But you're right. You have to talk to the experts. All we've heard for the last 3 to 4 months is listen to the experts. And now I'm not a doctor. I couldn't tell you how to do heart surgery, so I'm not going to try. And they're not in the restaurant business, so they should listen to the small business restaurant owners. And again, we're smart guys, we're educated, we're well-spoken, we understand how to organize things. That's how we became successful to begin with. And by listening to us and letting us voice our opinions and then working with us, and we're obviously more than willing to work with the government, not only meet them halfway, but go all the way there if we have to. We're just trying to really get their attention. I mean, I went out there about 3-4 weeks ago and I posted a picture standing in front of the restaurant holding up a sign that said call 311 and there was attention governor and all this stuff. And a few other restaurants did the same, and 5 restaurants did it on the first day, and we got over 150,000 views on Facebook, which is a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot for just 5 places to be able to reach that. Which was great. The message was heard. We were working with all of our local politicians from both sides, which is great. Everyone's really working together. I haven't seen unison like this between politicians and small business owners in a long time. It's really it's impressive. It's a relief that everybody's kind of on the same page, and we're just working to move forward. The problem is, it's very hard to get the governor's attention. He's got a lot of things going on. We've seen that in the news over the past couple of weeks. So to get his attention isn't easy, but a lot of industries have gotten one-on-one conference calls like this with him and Zoom conversations where the experts, have voiced their opinions and they've worked with the governor and listened. So why are restaurants and bars being shoved aside?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you go back, because it seems like we talked about this yesterday, a lot of things, there's no plan, so to speak. So when there's finally a plan, it comes forward. And I will say, of some of the Forward New York and reopening New York documents, there is some great, there have been some good tools finally, but like even for our business, there's nothing.
There's nothing
I've got
specific.
no clue what
Right.
they're going to ask for entertainment centers. So for us, we should be 4 to 6 weeks away and little to no guidance, where from the food service side, we've got some guidance. So even for restaurants, in the beginning, your bar, you can have your bar, you can't have stools at your bar. Well, does that make sense? Because, hey, Rob, I don't know about you, but if I were in your position, I would just have a table for my bar patrons and, hey, let's sit together at a table versus sitting at a bar top. I mean, I wonder where the thought process comes from.
Because the policies it's like the policies are being made by people, again, who are not in, like Rob, they're not in his position and know that's not going to work when we try to implement it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think that people also think that restaurant owners are making money hand over fist. They don't realize how tight the profit margins are. So it's most likely business that's going to be, given that extra fee, to get a permit and to, do that extra paperwork, because I don't know what they're thinking. But I would like to say just one thing, sort of an inside baseball thing. Every time Rob, brings things up with this, or, we have a conversation, I go right to, I try to kind of get things moving a little bit, like get some answers. And I'm in the dark too in a lot of this. So like, for instance, I really don't deal with the Department of Transportation, but they're the ones who issue the permits for the sidewalk cafes, which is the next step, which, with the alfresco dining in phase 2. So right now I asked them today, like, what's the deal? The mayor announced on June 5th, exactly like these specifics on dining. Where are we? But they don't have an answer. They don't have any guidelines, nothing. I asked the Department of Health, what are the guidelines yesterday? They're very nice over there. They're very respectful and they always get back to me. No, they don't really have anything going yet. Nor does the Department of Consumer Affairs, it seems. And they're the ones who also manage the outdoor cafe things. It's just bizarre. I mean, that's what he does. And I spoke with one of my colleagues at the Advance who handles City Hall, and he said, Rob, you'll love this one. He said that, the mayor comes out with these things and he doesn't have any plan. He's just like, okay, we're going to do this. And then they don't have the infrastructure, to really do it. So anyway, that's where we are. So.
Well, I'm glad you've had nice conversations with the health department, because I've gotten 6 days in a row and they're still not nice to me. It's still tough on us. I hope this is over. They ease up on some of these fines and restrictions. And, I know my last health inspection, I only got 3 points, which is amazing. 3 points. I still had like a $600 fine. And I was like, why did I have a fine? I don't understand.
Yeah, well, we've gone away from the days of 0 points.
Yeah.
We were here working in between the two entities. We were working towards a golden apple. Perfect. Yeah, I think it was 3 0-point inspections in a row. And then when they eliminated that program, they also eliminated the fact that no inspector can walk back with 0 points.
Yeah,
it just doesn't happen.
Right. They're mandated probably.
And it's a shame because, don't get me wrong. I want you to do your job. And
do your job.
If I'm missing something, that's an opportunity to educate me.
Right.
And we've had the last couple of inspectors, I have to say, have been really good. But I've had some really bad ones. So, Pam, you bring up a great point. I don't know if the average consumer realizes how many different city agencies a restaurant actually works with.
Yep.
So now, depending on the restaurant and the bar, consumer affairs, you talked about the DOT, health department, the fire department, the Department of Buildings. And the Department of Buildings, you think, handles certain things. No, the fire department does.
Handles
and then
that, right.
The other way around. And I will say, fire and Department of Buildings, what we've learned in the last 5 years, they're trying to streamline some of that also. But you think that even on the food service side, you would do it. Yeah. But that every entity is another button. Oh, wait, the State Liquor Authority, right? So
everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
And to the point, who do you ask? And I will tell you right now, there's a couple of things that we had questions about. And you get the runarounds. And I don't want to beat up on our agencies. I mean, it's very easy to do that. So the positive side of it is, hey, we're going to get to reopen. Let's make the best of it with all of these challenges. So, Rob, let's think ahead. What are you looking? I know you're looking forward to opening. You guys have outdoor seating.
Correct.
What does the reopen look like for you guys?
So, I mean, every restaurant and every situation is different because every real estate's different. You know, I have seating in the front of the restaurant and I have seating in the back. You know, we had a bocce court and a dining garden, you know, back there. And over the last 3 days, we've ripped up the bocce court. And now the dining area is going to go from sitting about 35 to 40 people to 80 to 100 with social distancing. So you're talking about a massive amount of space back there. That's with social distancing. You're talking about a massive amount of space. You know, we're putting trees back there and shrubbery to kind of make everything private and close everything. You have posts being stuck into the ground, pergolas being built, string lights hung. There's music, other lighting out there, Wi-Fi out there. You know, you name it. We have it out there, which is great. We're working with the SLA now to set up temporary bars out there, or at least a service bar. They have very strict guidelines on what they want and what they don't want. You know, and it's going to be we're gonna have to, you know, really comply to the best of our abilities. But again, not everybody has that same luxury and that same amount of space. And you know, for somebody like me, I worry about the little guys who don't have, you know, the space in the front, who don't have the parking lot, you know. And then what are the bars going to do? How are you going to police people from standing 6 feet apart? There's a lot of issues and a lot of problems that are not being addressed. And again, it's very easy to blame the governor or the mayor's office, but they don't understand. I don't fault them for not understanding our business, but you know, let us now educate you and show you the issues. Right. Because sometimes they come out with certain claims or certain things that they want done, and you know, for lack of a better word, they're ridiculous and asinine. I mean, some of the things don't make sense at all. And there's so many loopholes around it that we have figured out since they closed us. You know, with people sitting at us, putting tables and chairs outside, people picking up, eating out there. They're not in the restaurant. There's no waiter service, and that got cracked down a couple of weeks ago after what happened at Cargo Cafe on Bay Street, and what was going on in Manhattan. You know, people. I have to say, I listen to people every week, and people are more ready now than they ever have been to go back. You know, when this was going on, it was 50-50. 50% of people were going to be afraid to go out to restaurants, understandably so. The other 50% was, no, I want to go back. I want to go back. Now you're at a point where you're at like 75-25, and the momentum is still running. And of course, we only want people to come back once they 100% feel comfortable themselves. But now we have to start doing something, tackling something, and having a firm date. We can't just have a maybe date for the reopening. Restaurants, it's going to take us 4 or 5 days of prep to get ready at a minimum. So we can't be told Monday, June 22nd, and do all that work, order all that stuff, spend all that money, spend all that time, rehire people, have all those perishables there, and then 11 o'clock at night, you move the goalposts back and we're supposed to go to work in the morning. It just can't happen. Whatever the date is that they give us, they have to stick to it. They have to stick to it, and they have to give us not just an opening date, but future plans of how to phase us in. Do you want to start us at 50%? Do you want to wait a month and then go to 75%? Do you want to wait another month and go to 100%? There's a lot of rumors going around that they're not going to let us go back to 100% until there's a vaccine. And this is a big concern.
Yes, right. And so you're fortunate and unfortunate at the same time, because you're in a similar boat as us. We've got a big building, right? You've got a big place. Your business, our business, is not designed to be operated at 50%.
Correct.
So now, yes, currently you're able to take advantage of outdoor dining and do what you can.
What happens in the fall?
Now it's cold outside. I mean, you could only do so much. You have the patio in the front that's enclosed. I mean, but that's not, your business was never designed to do that. And so now you're fortunate because you have a big enough space that you probably can make it work. But you know, what about the little guy across the street from you who's got no outdoor dining opportunities at all? And then or the guy down the block. And so that's to me, that's where it becomes the true struggle. And so even at 75%, all right, we're close, but we're still not there. We have.
So, Rob, what is the next step with the restaurant association? What are you guys going to do? Are you going to march? Are you going to?
So the next. There is a game plan over the next few days. The step one was today. where Congressman Max Rose was given the guidelines. He, has claimed he's very close to the governor's office. He speaks to them once a week, and he feels very strongly and very passionately about what we're trying to do. And he's going to be presenting that letter today. I haven't spoken to him since this morning, so I don't know how far he got today. The letter asks for a response by 5 p.m. tomorrow. And what that response is, we want a response for a meeting, because we keep getting blown off on these conference call meetings. We want that meeting Monday. Obviously, if they say we'll give you the meeting Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to take it. But we're saying that we want the meeting Monday. We want to talk. We want to figure this out. We want to get the guidelines and everything, all taken care of. If they don't answer us or decline, what we're trying to do, then we, as restaurant owners and bar owners, are going to have another meeting on Tuesday next week, which will have about probably close to 400 restaurants.
That's great. Wow.
Between Staten Island, Brooklyn, and possibly Queens and the Bronx.
Yeah.
That was thunder.
Wow. Yeah.
That was thunder.
It's starting to get.
I just heard the same thunder right here.
Yeah, right. that was thunder. So that shows what I'm saying. It's true. So right now, that was just thunder. And Tuesday we're gonna have a meeting. On Wednesday we're gonna have to mobilize. And now that's a scary word to hear. Mobilize. Like, what do you mean you're gonna mobilize? We're gonna have to find another way to get our point across. And like I said, there's been a lot of different things that have been thrown around. Now, there could be a protest outside of City Hall, a very safe and peaceful protest outside of City Hall. No bricks, just signs, and just please let us open. That's what we're looking at now. There's been other things that are thrown around, but nobody really wants to do that. We just want to have a phone conversation.
Yeah.
That's all we really, nobody wants to protest. Nobody wants to block traffic. Nobody wants to do a mass opening. We just want to have a conversation of saying, hey, listen, we understand what you're dealing with from the governor's office. We understand you have this pandemic. You don't want anybody to get sick. Neither do we. Give us a date that we can open. Then let's have a phased plan how we get back to 100% and safely and responsibly. If you don't feel it, because there's a lot of other talk too, now that they feel that we'll go back to 100%, and then when the flu season comes around, they might try to drop us back down. If you're feeling that this is not something you're going to be able to give us, instead of us going out and protesting, why don't we talk about Plan B? And Plan B is going to be discussed at another closed-door meeting tomorrow. Quick meeting, a handful of restaurants, and it's a financial plan. Right now, they put out all those loans, those EIDL loans. The restaurateurs, we don't want grants. We don't want anything for nothing. We don't want that. We want to go back, to work. So what we would request is to have federal funding and federal loans, which are these EIDL loans that none of us have had access to, and none of us have gotten these loans. The PPP, a lot of us have gotten, which is great. Some have not. And Max Rose is working on that directly for those restaurants. And now they believe they're going to be able to do the same thing for the EIDL and get us those loans. Let's map out 18 months of rent, gas, electric, water, Verizon. And you really believe you want to do this to us for 18 months until there's some type of vaccine, then fund us to do it. We're going to pay you the money back. Give us, a 20-year loan at a low interest rate. We don't want a grant. We want to work with them. Help us float and survive, like a bridge loan. Help us float and survive. And let us pay you back with interest, and we'll get back to work.
Yeah, and that's, to me, that's showing that we want to work together. And I'm all for. And the fix here was to just give out loans, and that's great. They've been capped. They gave away too much money very fast, and so that the businesses that needed more money couldn't get it. I mean, we're in that boat too. You looked at what we were able to get. Okay, it's not enough. But so how do we work together? I mean, that's a great message, Rob. And the question I was going to ask you also: what kind of information are you getting from the NRA, the National Restaurant Association? I said NRA pretty right.
Yeah.
Are they being helpful here?
They are not. They are not. It's
so large and mighty.
The sad truth is they have not been that helpful. We recently have been in touch with Andrew Reggie, who is the head of the New York City Hospitality Alliance, and he's been much more helpful, and he is on de Blasio and Cuomo's boards of advisors with restaurateur Danny Meyer. So what what we're looking to do with him is try to unite, and we're using some of those connections to see if there's something, but nobody really has any answers. There's not like a real answer, and most of that comes from they don't have small business restaurant owners as advisors. And what we're really trying to push is to get one of us up there as a voice and as an advisor to be consulted on how we have to do this. And you know what? There are going to be some things that the government's just going to say no, but at least we'll have the answer of no.
Yeah.
Just at least if I go up there and they say, Rob, we're never going to give you this, and say, okay, at least I can come back with a no. That's a dead end. We have to work a different way.
Right. But at least listen. Right.
Yeah. At least listen to us. At least let us know that you actually care and are listening to some extent. Hey, great points. Hey, Rob, I got to ask you. So we were in the restaurant a day or two before the shutdown, and we were very comfortable. And I had some great restaurant experiences prior to, which shows that Rob was thinking about, hey, what does this look like going forward? And without any answers, you don't know. And your staff really went above and beyond to make sure that people were comfortable in that time frame. So kudos to you. But on to food, I got to ask, what is your mom, when she's there, takes very deep pride in some of the work that comes out of that kitchen, because she ties her name to it. But what's your favorite dish that comes out of that kitchen? My favorite dish that comes out of that kitchen? Oh, that's a loaded question. I'm just gonna have to stick with Mama's meatballs, my mother's 4-generation meatball recipe that is held very secretive to myself and her. We're the only two people who know the recipe and can create the Mama's meatball. So I'm going to have to say that staple item is my favorite. I also feel that I owe that item a lot of press, because if Pam, you remember 3 years ago, we sat down and I said I was going to open, and you said, what's going to make you different? And I said, my mama's meatballs is better than your mama's meatballs. That statement, a lot of people took that very personally and immediately ran to the restaurant and said, I have to try this now. And
cool.
It kind of took off right away, and it worked. So I'll say Mama's meatballs is my favorite item, and it's still the most popular item on the menu.
Oh, that was my question.
And they're good.
Yeah.
They're delicious. I have to say the meatballs are good. And in a good side, when it comes to meatballs and products like that, you want them to be popular because they're probably the most profitable versus just putting a pork chop on a plate. Which is cool. The Fra Diablo is ridiculous. That's one of my favorites that comes out of that kitchen.
Yeah, seafood Fra Diablo. I do the lobster pescator, 2.5, 3, depending on time of the year, whether I get the 1.5 pound lobsters or the 2-pound lobsters. Ovolinguine, mussels, clams, shrimp, calamari in it can be served red, white, sweet, or spicy, however you like. That's a really popular dish. That's our most popular special.
And you stopped serving pizza.
And I stopped serving pizza. I stopped serving pizza 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I cannot wait to get back to serving pizza.
I'm sure it's great food cost.
Hint, that day is coming, not at DeLuca's, but at the next venture.
Our viewers know there's always breaking news here on the show. It's a Live from Rabs. That's great.
What did you do with the oven?
The oven's actually still there. So the oven is still there if I ever did decide to turn it back on. But the oven's been dark for 2 years. Wow. It's in that brick wall, so you're not getting it out unless you're doing major construction to remove that. But the station in front of it was removed, and we needed that space for extra dining. And where I was only able to fit in that little room a 6 top and a 4, now I can do parties of 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I can do parties of 30 in that space. Just the way the space was outlaid, I can do a long table of like 18 people. Straight this way, I could do 2 tables or three larger tables of like 10, and do like a small party of 30, like a dinner party.
That's really great.
So yeah, it ended up being something that was definitely worth it. When we opened, we were a little bit more casual. You know, we had the pizza, we had, you know, all those recipes, and not that it's not a very comfortable experience now, but we do specialize in the high end items and the finer dining service, and it kind of grew from the beginning. And after about 8 months, you know, the direction was clear where we had to go. Went from pizza to bronzinos and lamb chops. So you know, when you're doing that, it's when you go more fine dining, sometimes you got to let pizza go for a little bit. A lot of people forget when Angelina first opened up in Annandale 30 years ago, she had a pizza oven for the first year.
Yeah, and then look where she took off.
And she took it out, and now, you know, look at what she has in Tottenville, where she's got a beautiful restaurant, 3 floors, and a giant catering hall outside.
Yeah. And you know, we're talking about, and that's another great example, because when we talk about this new dining era for a little while, this outdoor dining, folks like you, Angelina's, the ones at the Marina Cafe, Southfin, you all have the leg up because you have some sort of existing space that you could do outdoor dining. And so, which is going to be great. And so, to your point, the challenge is going to be for everyone else to figure that out. And at the same time, you know, you talked a little bit about your menu. People have already adjusted menus to adapt for takeout and delivery. Do you when you reopen, do you see keeping your full regular menu, or are you planning on scaling it back a little bit?
Right now, that conversation goes back and forth in my head every day. When this all first happened, I hate to say that I saw what was coming, but I did. I knew a financial collapse was right around the corner. And I said, you know, people are not going to be ordering veal chops and lamb chops and bronzinos. We have to adjust. And I'll say, you know, it was one of the worst days of my restaurant career was Friday. It was March 13th. It was Friday the 13th. And it was a full moon. It was just it was that first day that you saw what was going to happen. And, you know, it was a big drop off from the Friday before as far as reservations, people out to dine. You saw a monstrous drop. You saw it there right that day. I went over to the bar. I opened my laptop and I said, I said, it's only a matter of time before they close us. I said, maybe we'll be allowed to do takeout and delivery. And I started putting together a menu. Saturday, we saw the same effects. Sunday, they announced the schools were going to close, and that Monday would be our last day in service. And Tuesday, which was St. Patrick's Day, was the first day of curbside pickup and delivery. And we started doing curbside pickup and delivery the week before. You know, we saw what was coming, so we started doing it the week before, and we were using our full menu. And then I redesigned what is now the delivery and curbside pickup menu. We've been running off of that. It's been 3 months plus now. Every month I change it or adjust it or add some new things, you know, to it, because, you know, we'll have specials. People will want this, and I'll just add it on. It'll catch on. I'll add it onto the menu so people could order it. So in a sense, we're almost like we're operating like a pizzeria, you know, and we adjusted right away, where we have a lot of different items between sandwiches, salad, pasta, chicken, you know, a lot of things that were more comfort food and much more affordable. I slashed prices 25% right off the bat in the beginning to help people with the economic struggles that I saw coming, and vowed only to increase price as the vendors increase theirs. So we saw chicken and pork and beef go up. So only would I go up, you know, if they charged me 50 cents more instead of doing my normal markup, I would just add 50 cents on, just to try to balance, you know, the economic struggle that I knew people would go through, and, you know, keep them feeling comfortable of what we were doing. So when we go back, I think you'll see a combination of both. We will go back to higher end items. I don't know to what scale we're going to go back, you know, because people are going to come out of this different than we went into it. Dining was at an all-time high, you know, for all of us going into this. So, you know, we're going to see this. There's going to be adjustments. You know, I can't say exactly what it's going to be right now. The summertime's coming. Seafood, lighter things are going to be in. So that's not cheap to begin with. But I think with the outdoor dining, we'll be able to, I don't want to say get away with serving all those things, even though they're a little more expensive. But I think the demand is going to be there for it. So, we're going to serve them, and we're going to really see how we rebound towards September and see what we're going to do. Is it, we're going to be serving rice bowls, or we're going to be serving lamb chops? And either way, it's all family recipes. It's all Italian food. It's all good food. And we will adapt to in whatever way we have to.
So Rob, you talk to a lot of other restaurateurs in your group. What do you think is the percentage that are having decent success like you are with the curbside and delivery?
I think a lot of guys who had good businesses before are doing the best right now. I think if there were some guys who were behind, they're really starting to struggle. I think guys who had places that were built more off of the scene and hanging out there, now that you can't hang out there, people aren't going as much. And I think bars are in a lot of trouble, and that's who I really feel for, because, I don't have the answer. I have a big, beautiful bar in my place that people come down and sit down and have dinner. And I'm sure when we reopen, I could say, okay, you could reserve a seat at this end of the bar and have dinner, and you could reserve a seat at this end of the bar. But that congregating is going to be hard, and there's no real answer for it. At the end of the day, going out to a restaurant, unfortunately, is going to be like, enter it, like when we go back to gyms and fitness clubs, enter at your own risk. You decided to come in, you had the choice to come in, and we're going to do everything we can to make you feel comfortable and keep the place clean and sanitized and do things responsibly, but there's still a risk.
Yeah, without a doubt. Hey, Rob, awesome. Keep up the great work. That your fellow restaurateurs need you. You guys are going to be working together, and it's been greatly received from the friends that I know that are in the business and have been talking about it. So kudos to you. I'm looking forward to coming back when you reopen. Yeah, we'll have some drinks together, and we're all going to laugh about this, and we're going to move forward. So keep up the good work. Say hello to Mom, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, good luck.
Will do. Thank you so much for having me. Pam, thanks for inviting me. And Pam, thank you so much. You have been like an angel for us with all the support. You are truly the best. Thank you for everything. You're the one helping us spread the awareness and the word. So I want to give a huge shout out to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anything to help.
Hey, Rob, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Okay, be well.
Bye.
I'll see you soon, guys.
Hey, Pam, quick before you click off, I just want to say thank you. Today we officially announced the Rotary Clubs of Staten Island with Rolling Thunder officially announced the return of Oktoberfest this fall, and you penned a great piece. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Do good job with press releases, I have to say. So you make it easy.
We're looking forward to having an event in the fall, and this week on the show, I think it's Wednesday, the event organizers, Rolling Thunder, Vinny, and Christine DeHart are going to come and talk about the event, and we'll talk more about Oktoberfest. But thank you for your support.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Thank you both. You're both terrific. So
you're the best. And before you know, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. and then we'll see you again next Thursday.
Very good.
Thanks,
Thank
Pam.
Thank you, Pam.
Bye, guys.
And yes, Ronnie, Rob certainly kept it real. And I didn't want this comment to get lost, but Steve mentioned stick to Mama's meatballs.
Can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong. I have to say, if you've ever been in the restaurant, they've done a nice job. I think it was an Italian restaurant before from one of the outer boroughs. Didn't really make it as long. They've gone in there and they've done some great work.
The place looks beautiful. I mean, I haven't been there. It's a South Shore thing, and it's a little
far out.
It's a little trek for me in the other direction, but
we're gonna make a point to go and enjoy it.
We'll have dinner.
We're gonna have to
as soon as this is over.
All I know is I got a lot of dinner dates.
I'm sure you do.
After all this is over. I mean, because we have to, and I want to go and support those that are getting to open, and I would expect the same from everybody else.
Yep.
He talks. Dorothy Butler also mentioned it in her comments. She doesn't eat meatballs out. I don't either, but I will tell you.
No, I'm really picky.
There have been a few.
There's
only a couple places that I will eat meatballs out.
Venum?
For sure. He's got great meatballs.
Yes.
Violet's has decent meatballs. I like the one. It's got a little spicy sauce on it.
I don't know if I've had them there.
But the ones at Venom are the sausage and broccoli rabe meatballs that he makes really well. Angelina has really good meatballs, and that's another secret recipe that anytime we're around, I always ask her, so you're going to share it? And she laughs. But Rob and Kim's meatballs, Mama's meatballs are pretty good. And the Roadhouse does the meatball on the salad too, which is pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. I love the meatball at the Roadhouse. Yeah.
Wow.
Who knew?
Well, no, I think, wow. All right then.
So thank you, Rob and Pam, for coming in today and talking
great
food.
Guests.
I mean, we could talk all day, and it's great to see that the restaurants are banding together.
It's really important.
It really is.
It really is important. This, like you said, strength in numbers, and I think when the government agencies, in particular the governor, he would see a united front. Hopefully that makes him, sit up and realize, well, these people are serious about their businesses. When you're serious enough to sit in a room with your competitors, and means you care about business. You care not just about your business, the industry in general.
Oh, yeah.
And when one is strong, you can all be strong. So yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah, we've talked, and it's the same message from the bowling proprietors throughout New York State.
Absolutely.
Throughout the state, there are over 300 bowling centers. Some chain operators, independent operators, family owned.
So many different
variables. Many of them have bars and restaurants. Some have
Some don't.
others. Some don't at all.
Right.
Some are closed in the summer. Some are open. I mean, we've got a lot of variables, but we're doing the same thing collectively throughout the state, doing exactly that, having conversations with our legislatures.
Yeah.
Consider opening us sooner.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of a challenge. I mean, we represent a lot in New York, but not. When you look at the restaurant business, we talked about 300 to 400 plus restaurants alone. I mean, that's hard to fathom here on Staten Island.
And that's probably a drop in the bucket.
That's not all of them.
Yeah,
by all
I'm
means.
sure that's not all of them.
And what do you consider a restaurant? And I'm going to tell you, the takeout place that has no seats is also the restaurant.
Yeah,
because
correct.
they got to do this.
The place
same
that Pam talks about all the time, that's in the back of the laundromat.
Yeah. And across the street from DeLuca's is another little hidden gem, Danny's. And it's small restaurant. And for them, I see a challenge. Very small restaurant.
Yeah.
I really don't even. I know there's an alleyway. I don't even know if there's room for outdoor dining in the back. Yeah. So it's going to make it. It's going to be very different for
honestly,
these restaurants.
It really the outdoor alfresco dining is like a Band-Aid. It's a temporary.
For now. Yep.
It's a temporary fix that they haven't even hashed out yet.
Yeah.
And it's listen. I wish the best for. Listen, small business is a struggle, and restaurant businesses are on such a tight margin that I wish the best for them. That's why I eat out a lot, so I'm supporting them.
You know what? We were just talking about food. So a meme of the day is.
Speaking of food,
and our meme of the day is timely here. You ready? Make brisket $1.97 a pound again. I mean, come on. I think that's funny.
That is funny. That's probably not going to happen.
And say it too at the same time that the price of meat, and we just picked up some meat the other day, and I was like, whoa. I didn't realize. I ordered it for delivery, and I wish I'm now going to start asking the price per pound because, and not that listen, I'm very price conscious, but I didn't think how much of a change it has gone up. It might not curb. We bought extra to keep in the freezer because we go through a lot of food. But I was like, whoa, I honestly was a little taken back. I mean, a few bucks, a pound or two, I mean, $1 a pound adds up. Yeah. I mean, it adds up and makes you question what you're ordering in advance. So look at really look at the prices and the restaurants are going to get hit. And I think I've said this before, but Pam quoted me in her article that she did with other business owners. The larger concern is that we're going to buy in bulk, but we can't buy in bulk like we used to because we're at a smaller capacity. So
going to affect the bottom line.
Yeah, if I'm used to buying this box of meat for $50, it's now going to be $100, and there's you have to take that in consideration. So it's going to cost us more to operate, especially in the short term. To your point, a Band-Aid. we did. We talked about grilling, and I shared with you earlier. I got my Misfits box, my fresh produce.
You did
this
tell
morning.
me about your Misfits. I think mine is coming this afternoon.
And I have to say, it was I should have taken a picture of it. It's the first time I didn't take a picture. It was one of the best boxes of produce I've gotten through all this. We got baby broccolini. We got these nice plum, like the little plums.
Oh, I got some
fresh
in the
herbs.
last box, I got peaches.
Oh, the peaches and the peaches were great.
Yeah,
and they avocados were great.
Really good.
Dennis is saying he can afford steaks because we're not bowling. Well, think about your regular habits and how much money you might be saving right now because you're not doing certain things. And I mean, you budget accordingly, but hey, I got a few bucks in my pocket. And for many who are, if you're retired, it's a little bit different. And don't get me wrong, I do believe retired individuals are taking a hit because your investments have taken a hit.
Yeah.
But those that are still in the working field
coming back up,
taking a different. Yeah, the market's been doing well. Yeah. I mean, those in the working field, I mean, probably are taking a little bit more of a hit because they're not working. Maybe they're not getting. In some cases, they're making more money than they were before, but in a lot of cases, maybe not.
They're not, right?
So it really depends. And yesterday, I asked you before. So we've inspired so many different things here. I mean, live from Rabs. We want to. You don't have to give us credit.
No shout outs. We don't need that. We know.
But I got credit last night from my brother. Todd Bavona came in before. I don't know if you're still watching, but if you are, kudos to you and your team. Great job with live from APAC. Anthony and Gotham Trinity Productions together started a live show that's going to go weekly from inside the theater. Kind of similar in the background, a dark theater. Todd looks like the new Jimmy Fallon. He's got a desk, a couch. Really? I have to say, they really did a nice job. So we watched it last night on a rerun and on TV in the house. And I said to Anthony, I said, I don't want to take credit. Naz and I can't take credit for things, but I'm pretty sure we inspired you to do this.
It was one of our first guests you brought.
And he agreed. He actually gave us kudos. Christine DeHart was watching. We inspired her. And while we went live tonight, I saw that the Shafani Show made an appearance today.
Can you believe that?
So Shannon O'Keefe and Stephanie Johnson, who have both been on our show, have gone back to doing their little live videos.
We're just inspirational.
This is episode 78. We've been doing this for 80 plus days because now we take some days off. And it's been fun. I mean, we've been enjoying it. Yeah, we hope that you continue to come and watch. We hope you're enjoying it. Trying to bring you different guests to listen to, so you don't always have to listen to
the same stuff.
Naz and I,
the same stuff.
Jimmy is off today, so we don't have Jimmy yelling in the background somewhere.
It's quiet today.
I think he's going to be upset that he took today off to maybe go fishing.
Well, it depends on how much it rains. If
it depends on what time he went out. Right. I don't know what time he was planning.
If it's dark, if it's overcast, he does not mind.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, there's probably less guys there.
Well, they think they will fisher. People like it better.
We had yesterday. We had PWBA champion and superstar Danielle McEwen on the show.
Great.
And if you missed, bowling is back on TV. They were live last Saturday. This upcoming Saturday was taped.
Right.
However, it's the Summer Clash, which returns on Fox. The prime time.
It was last week was really good. I enjoyed it.
So the Summer Clash this Saturday on Fox at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's funny. It's 6 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific. There must be something else happening on TV on Saturday afternoon. So tune in for some live bowling. Danielle's on the show. We did not.
She did not reveal.
But we didn't ask. I mean, we really didn't.
Right? No,
we didn't push her. We were respectful.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil a surprise anyway. I don't want to know what's going to happen.
I'd love to see her beat up on the guys. I mean, that'd be fun.
She seemed happy.
She did. I mean, she's a phenomenal athlete.
Yes.
So, I mean, she's great. We're looking forward to having bowling on TV. You get a little dose of bowling every day with us. And before we sign off, we've been sharing some old photos through our 25th anniversary. Here's a photo, and I can't find the original photo, but the original photo is actually funnier than what I'm going to share. And it's not really funny, but it was funny if it wasn't cropped.
Oh.
So this photo, Nazareth took this photo. I don't know how many years ago this is, but we were doing promotional videos for the Staten Island Yankees.
I was in the picture.
And Nazareth took this. She was trying to be discreet or send me a selfie, and her little head is at the bottom of the photo with Scooter in the background.
Thank you for cropping.
Scooter. No, well, I cropped this for the gram, but I can't find the original photo where Naz's little head is in there, which is great. So if you ever go to the ballpark at any time and you saw, we do a guess how many pins Scooter knocked down, and this is behind.
This was when they taped it. Yeah, that was fun.
A little behind the scenes. Scooter knocked down a lot of pins that day. Not very easy for Scooter
with all of that. Right?
I think it's more the feet. I think it's more the challenge.
Yeah.
And today's Thursday, which means tomorrow's Friday. Naz, on our show tomorrow,
Renee Sarno's joining us from Yaymaker, right?
She is. So we're going to talk some crafting tomorrow. And I will say, if anybody is on the TikTok, there are a lot of crafty pages too that have spun up out of during this.
I can't tell you.
So
I want to make everything.
Yeah. There's a lot of tie-dye I noticed, especially of late.
Yeah, I don't do the tie-dye. I need to get a little bit more substantial. Like, I'm going to build furniture. Wait till you see how my table...
you still haven't sent me a picture. She
keeps
keeps telling us how
I'm going to finish.
Beautiful her.
I have to finish the legs.
All right. I just want to see how far you've gotten it, because it's inspiring me to do that with our table.
You're gonna be...
Our table needs it. And tomorrow, we're going to have Renee on the show. You're going to bring a photo of your table. But tomorrow night, you get another dose of Frank.
Bingo!
For bingo. The North Shore Rotary Club of Staten Island hosts virtual bingo. Come and join us. sinorthshorerotary.org/bingo. Buy your bingo card. It's a $10 donation. You could chance to win on the money wheel.
So much fun. And you know what? Not only is it a fun night, you can win a gift card or two or money. You know what? It goes to a good cause. Rotary does so much in the community, and it's like every other everybody else who's using their money to help the community. They've taken a decent hit this year. So you know what? It's a way that you can give a little back to help out North Shore Rotary.
Yeah,
get in there.
And all of our projects. So come on down. And you could be the next contestant playing Plinko. You could win some money on the wheels. And I mean, I'm having fun just sitting here yelling at Christina. She's pulling numbers and making bad jokes. But it's a fun night. It's virtual online. And so to echo everything Nazareth said, we've given away over almost $7,000 in prizes in the first 5 bingo
weeks,
nights.
Right? That's crazy.
We've had some great fun. So come on. I don't know how many more bingo nights we've gotten us, but we at least have one more, which is this week. But as we're getting closer, phase 1 for Live from Rabs has already happened because we're taking off Sundays. I don't know what the next phase for bingo night is, but who knows? Naz, it's been a long hour and 20 minutes. I mean, we had 2 great guests on with us, Pam always, and Rob talked about the restaurant and what they're doing. There was a bar tavern association.
Yes, there used to be.
And they're still kind of active, but I mean, they haven't, and sadly, they're not active really now, and this is when they should be.
Should be.
So maybe that'll inspire, and hopefully that inspires them to, or through this group, iRoar.
Right, yes. Something comes out of it.
Or they all work together. I mean, we need to band together and get people back to work, give people their lives back to an extent of going out and enjoying. I mean, social activity is so important to people. That's why bowling, America's number one pastime.
People need connection. They need their friends.
I don't want to rant anymore. I've ranted a couple times today, but I mean, they weren't bad. Were they bad rants?
No, they weren't.
I'm in a good mood today.
No,
I'm actually inspired. I was inspired because I can't wait to cook dinner tonight, which I'm supposed to be grilling and. Once again, grilling in the rain.
You might be grilling in the rain. That's what I was going to tell you.
It's been a while since I've had to grill in the rain, so that's okay. Can't wait to use my paddle again. Clean off the barbecue. It'll be a great night. I got veggie burgers and portobello mushrooms for the grill tonight.
I just want to, before we go, I want to send prayers out to family, friends who, a friend of mine who passed away either last night or early this morning, and I'm just, you know who you are. I'm sending you prayers. We love you, and we're gonna get through this together. So sending out some prayers from a friend
Some love.
and her family. Yes.
Some love.
Well, special person. Special people. Anyway,
Thanks, Naz.
I'm sorry. Way to bring that right down.
It's all right. I mean, stay healthy, stay safe.
Yeah.
Do what you can to do, be with people and
Love your people.
yeah. And
Never
say some
know.
prayers for some folks, without a doubt. Hey, Naz, that was fun. We really kept it real today.
We can't get more real than that.
And of all things,
It was awesome.
we'll see you tomorrow here, 2 p.m. live. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.